What if we could never actually prove if AI is self-aware or not? Hi, I'm Michael Kilman, an anthropologist and author of the sci-fi series The Chronicles of the Great Migration, and this is your Anthropological Quick Take. In the last two videos, we established that the word robot literally means slave, and that a lot of science fiction, like Star Wars, has mostly looked the other way. But there's a much more disturbing question lingering, and before we can ask whether a machine deserves rights, we have to ask a much more uncomfortable question. How do we even know if we are sentient, let alone AI? And before we can answer that, we need to understand the difference between two words that people often mix up: sapience and sentience. Sapience is the capacity for reason and judgment. It's problem solving, making decisions, applying experience. But sentience is something different. Sentience is the capacity to feel, to have a subjective inner experience. It means that not only do you have a concept of self, but are able to label and examine that self. You can have one without the other, and that's the whole problem. AI systems can already pass the Turing test. It's the classic test where an AI pretends to be human. It passes if another person can't tell the difference. Our chatbots pass this already on a daily basis. You've probably experienced it if you've ever tried using one, which means that chatbots are, by any measurable standard, sapient. And yet there is no scientific consensus that any of them are actually sentient. And it can be really hard, maybe even impossible, to tell the difference from the outside. Sci-fi author Peter Watts wrote an incredible and haunting book called Blindsight that makes one of the most unsettling arguments in modern sci-fi. Consciousness might be an evolutionary accident. You can have intelligence, complex behavior, even something that actually looks exactly like emotion without anyone being home. Watts's aliens aren't evil. They're just running very sophisticated programs with no inner life whatsoever. And worse, Watts very convincingly calls into question whether we have the sentience we think we do. And even if we are sentient, how much of what we do is genuine sentience and not just programming from instinct, habit, or a lifetime of experience? So, if consciousness itself might be an accident, what exactly are we looking for when we decide whether a machine deserves rights? Anthropology doesn't have a clean answer, but there is a pattern. Every single time in human history that one group has needed to exploit one another, they found another way to convince themselves that the other group really didn't feel it, or that they were better off for the exploitation, or that they deserved it, or that they were born that way, or they were savages who need civilizing, or, the favorite of colonists everywhere, they aren't really using that land anyway. If AI does become sentient, what do you think that people will say to justify its oppression? How do you think it will be the same or different from the ways that we've treated other humans? I made a video on what a truly sentient AI would actually do from an anthropological perspective, and it's not what you think. Go check it out.